This is Sparky, a Chachma baboon. She was born on the Cape Peninsula Mountain Range in 2008. And this is where she was shot and died 5 years later. One more statistic in the drive to exterminate Cape Town's baboons. Sparky was one of only 500 Chachma baboons left on the 50-kilometer long mountain range, a habitat that carries real dangers for young baboons while playing on overhead power lines.
And in Sparky's case, we managed to get her to a vet and had her leg cleanly amputated, and she spent time recuperating, and then she was released back to troop.
Sparky made a remarkable recovery, and she was as agile as ever.
And it was absolutely one of the most joyous, emotive days. When Moby, the alpha male, found his little daughter coming back, there wasn't a dry eye.
Sparky settled back into her troop until she was shot and killed by the local conservation authorities.
When this new management structure came into being, they decided that because Sparks was crippled, she was therefore a bad raider. She was easily identifiable, having the back leg missing. And so Sparks and Moby were killed to stop the raiding.
Raiding, in essence, is when a baboon comes into an urban area and does what baboons naturally do. They forage for food. This time for food that we humans throw out as waste. It seems managing Cape Town's baboons is more a matter of managing humans, because if there's free food for the taking, baboons will come and get it.
They can run straight down to the nearest cafe, jump over the roof, and help themselves to an absolute abundance of waste. Bread rolls, all the peelings of the vegetables. For 10 years, they still haven't managed to just cage off their waste. Simple thing. That's managing humans. And until the humans manage it properly, the baboons are going to take advantage of that.
The killing of Sparky and Moby are not isolated cases. The numbers of baboons being killed continues to climb.
And it's very flawed thinking, because we can see, we take the example of Fred, the very, very well-known baboon out of Miller's Point. Fred was the only male raiding calves. He was the dominant male. No other baboon in his troop was allowed to raid the calf. But you got rid of Fred, and suddenly Merlin and Force and Jimmy all had opportunities. So they got rid of them. But you can still drive your car on Miller's Point, throw food out for the baboons, and you're not going to get a fine. They haven't fined one person. In all of this time, not one person fined for feeding a baboon. At this point in 2013, so far 25 baboons killed by the authorities this year. And that's in addition to a further 27 who died through urban situations, so being knocked over by a car, killed by dogs, etc. So in total, 52 baboons killed this year, so that's more than 10% of the population group killed in 1 year. Well, when the first white settlers arrived, it wasn't just baboons that they were anti. Of course, they were trying to establish vegetable gardens, and they put bounty on all wildlife. And actually that's where our wildlife management comes back to, is all those hundreds of years ago. We still haven't grown up and changed our own mindset. We're still thinking if an animal's causing a problem, you get rid of it, you kill it. It's a quick, cheap solution.
However, this cheap solution is forcing the baboon numbers to drop dangerously low, and this of course affects the genetic viability of the group. They are an isolated population cut off from other wild populations by Cape Town's urban growth. Now, Jenny says, the gloves are off.
We're into a legal process, and from there we hope that we can make the authorities consider better ways of management that involve managing people as your first step. And once you've ticked all the people boxes, if it's still necessary to then reduce numbers, then look at other options. You can look at birth control options, you can look at all sorts of other options. It doesn't have to be this antiquated system of killing.